Sorry, I'm gonna put my oximeter on. I'm having trouble breathing here. My camera quit. Just gonna check my oxygen. My camera quit. I've got to delete stuff to make room. Yeah, my lungs are burning. It's not easy to breathe right now for me. And here's another thing that's happening is I feel like when I'm talking and when I'm talking, I'm running out of breath. Like when I'm talking, I'm pushing, I'm working at trying to like this isn't normal. I'm working at trying to get as many words out as I can before I run out of breath. And when things get bad like this, that thing gets worse as well. Like I'm trying to finish my sentences and get as many words out right now as I can before I run out of breath. And what's that all about? Oh, so what I was saying in the last little video is that I was so distraught and in such a state of trauma and fear and anger, and I was half out of my mind from the medication withdrawal and from trauma and in medical trauma, that they didn't want to deal with me. And I really, really needed someone totally speaking for me and representing me and fighting to get me the care I needed. And I could, they didn't want to deal with this. One surgeon said to me, well, he would talk to my other doctors and they would discuss potential when I was trying to get a trach. And I left feeling so relieved. I felt like I finally had someone that was going to try to help me. Heck no. When that report came back, he said, oh, well, she said she wasn't interested in surgery. And that isn't true. I can prove that that's not true. And see, I am medically injured, and that's a big strike against you. Lots of doctors don't want to deal with medically injured patients. So what's really going on here? Like you know what? I'm not going to survive this. I can't live like this. I can't live like this. Like something has to give. I need some sort of help. See, I'll tell you an example of a woman, a Canadian woman, and I taped the video from, it was on the news, and I taped her story, on the 6 o'clock news, and a little 2.5 minute video, and I can post that. I'll post that after I post this when I find it, or well, I'll post it tonight or tomorrow. And see, here's what they did to her. You have to understand. I had a woman the other day here on YouTube write some derogatory comment and blah blah blah. This isn't true. That's not true. You don't have this. You don't. Just because the public doesn't understand the reality of these issues. Like, there's this woman, she maybe was 5, 10 years older than me, and she went in for surgery, a gallbladder surgery. She got home and was really struggling and failing. And what I gather from that video, they didn't say exactly, but what I gather is they accidentally cut her phrenic nerve, which controls digestion, swallowing, controls your diaphragm, I think. So she went in for gallbladder surgery. They accidentally nicked her inside, accidentally cut something inside, and she started to have difficulties swallowing. She couldn't eat. I'll post a video. I'm not quoting exactly because I might get a little bits and pieces wrong, but you'll see in the video. And she was failing. And anyways, so she was in crisis, and the surgeon wouldn't talk to her. I don't think they helped her in the ER. Everybody was shutting her out. Everybody was locking her out and refusing to see her. The surgeon refused to see her. Everyone was denying her care. And she would have died if she hadn't had the financial means to, in a state of emergency, get to, I think she went to Mexico, or maybe she went to another province. I think she went to Mexico. You'll see in the video. So that's here in Canada. They accidentally injured her, then refused to have anything to do with her. And, when you see these patients do these videos, talk about it openly, they're hiding the level of fear and anger and trauma that they're in. They're speaking about it in a very diplomatic manner. But the truth of the matter is they left this woman for dead and locked her out. And lawyers wouldn't have anything to do with her. It was a state of negligence. Lawyers wouldn't take her on. She was fighting for her life, and literally, had she not had the means to get herself somewhere else for medical care, she would have died. And Canadians do not understand this. So, what's really happening here? I am literally terrified to go to bed because my throat is closing, because I'm collapsed. I feel like I'm collapsing, like down the trachea and further down. Like, and what it does is it forces me to stay awake. I had an hour of sleep last night. I'm on the verge of literal collapse. But it dawned on me within the last hour that, I'm watching a movie or I'm starting to get relaxed and my throat is closing. I feel like I'm collapsing different places along the airway. What I wanted to say too about the EDS and Chiari is when you've been gaslighted and for years, so 2009, 10, 15-ish years, when you've been gaslighted for years that nothing is wrong with you, and they know you have conditions like Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, or Chiari malformation. So now, I know I have these conditions, but I feel like I'm an imposter, kind of, like I don't really feel like a person with Ehlers-Danlos and Chiari, despite that the diagnoses are confirmed. But I was told for so long, I was gaslighted for so long about everything, and multiple misdiagnosis, right? That I don't feel like a real patient with. I don't feel like I legitimately have these conditions. So the feeling like I'm collapsing and stuff. This could be part of the Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. The feeling that like this could be, to a degree, on and off, and it waxes and wanes. It could be, partial autonomic nervous system dysfunction and failure. I had POTS for 4.5 years after the injury. The POTS has finally gone away, but I'm 7 years post the injury. So there's the odd time where things get so bad here that I will take. I when I got on CPAP 6 years ago, and doctors were encouraging me to take sleeping pills. Well, the reason why this all got so bad was weaning off the sleeping pills caused severe apnea. And they're really pushing and encouraging me to take sleeping pills because now I have CPAP. Well, my throat was closing with CPAP, even without medications. If I tried, and I did try different things along the way, like medications that I used to take, I would never take the ones, like I would never take clonazepam again or Zopiclone ever as long as I live. But I tried a tiny bit of trazodone. My throat was closing, awake, like it made things worse. Or a tiny bit of lorazepam. And I would end up in crisis and end up in the ER begging them for help because my throat is closing. And all they would do is offer more drugs. The drugs make it all worse. But now that I'm 7 years post the beginning of this injury, there are times where I get so desperate, I will take a tiny bit of clonazepam, like 0.33, a third of a clonazepam. I'm running out of air to talk. Or a little bit more than that, like close to half a lorazepam. And like once in a while, hardly never, but I will get so desperate for sleep. And sometimes it can really help me sleep better, give me an extra hour or two. But there are times when I take it and it makes it worse and my throat is closing. So, all of these sleep drugs are dangerous for me because they make the issue worse, but doctors can't get a grip on that. I wish I had a trach. I am terrified to go to bed tonight. I don't know how I'm going to fall asleep. Maybe once I get to sleep, I'll be okay on the CPAP, but and I don't mean I'll sleep 7-8 hours.